Hello, I'm Bernard Kelly, Australia's retirement strategist, and as you know, I operate an online wealth management consultancy practice for my private clients, and particularly we focus on negatively geared investment products. But today I'd like just to caution you about listening to some people who could steal your future from you should you listen to them. One category that comes to mind is typically an accountant. Now, accountant, when you go to see them and you say, I'm thinking about doing a negatively geared investment property, well, they'll work out the numbers and I sit at their desk and they'll then eventually say with a long face, but you're going to make a loss. Now, when an accountant says to you, you're going to make a loss, he's sitting at his desk, he's looking at the papers, he doesn't understand that people are doing these investment properties, 1,100 every week in Australia, and the reason they're doing them is to say, whoopee, we're going to make a loss. That means you're getting your tax money back. Now, the taxman doesn't mind, he actually encourages it, and the state governments do that as well. But what happens when you do a negatively geared investment property, the tax money that right now is sliding off to Canberra, and you've got no control over it, when you do a negatively geared investment property, you get your hands on your money and you put it aside into your investment property. So when someone says to you, or the accountant says, you're going to make a loss, you should say, whoopee, that's exactly what we want to do. Now, solicitors are another category that you have to listen to their opinions with a grain of salt, because should you mention to a solicitor that you're thinking about starting a portfolio of investment properties, the solicitor could off the cuff just say, gee, 10 years ago I had a client did that and it was a disaster for them. But really, that's not a professional opinion, because solicitors aren't professionally qualified to talk to you about success with property investing and how to get there. They know nothing about the ideal tenant, the ideal asset, the ideal location, the ideal packaging, the ideal exit strategy. They know nothing about that. So really, if you listen to a solicitor, as a generalisation, who happens to say something negative about property investing, you may as well ask your next door neighbour for his opinion, or perhaps ask a taxi driver for his opinion, because that's all they are. They're just opinions. But I'll just mention another group that I would suggest you take care should you be discussing investing properties with them, and they're the friendly bank on the corner. Now, if you go into the bank, your local bank, the friendly bank on the corner, and say to someone behind the counter, we'd like to talk to someone about borrowing some money against the other assets we own to start an investment property portfolio. Well, the banks have now instructed their employees, should ever they hear those words, we're looking to borrow some money to do an investment portfolio for wealth creation or whatever else you say, the bank employees are now instructed to take you by the hand, by the elbow, and introduce you to their in-house investment consultant. But that person working for the bank can't talk to you about property. They're not licensed to talk about property. All they can talk to you about is superannuation, and we all know that for the vast majority of superannuation will never be able to deliver on its promise. If you've got any doubt about that, ring me back, come back to me, send me an email to admin@retirelaughing.com, and I'll show you how on the back of an envelope you can work it out that superannuation won't really perform for you. But that's enough for now. If you do have any queries, send us an email to admin@retirelaughing.com, go into our website at retirelaughing.com. Let's start chatting, and eventually we'll be able to do something together. We'll be able to waltz off into the sunset with the orchestra playing. Cheers for now. I'm Bernard Kelly.